Today I'm making dumplings with my mom and my wife. But before that, I need to head out and grab some breakfast for my wife and daughter. Hi, I'm Jay. I live in a small city in northern China, together with my wife and our 2-year-old daughter. A few years ago, I quit my job to start an e-commerce business here in China. It didn't make much money, and by last year, my business was pretty much over. Around the same time, my wife lost her job too. Since our daughter is still so young, she's now staying home to take care of her. I've always been someone with a lot of ideas, but I'm also a huge procrastinator. Earlier this year, I suddenly had an idea. Maybe I could start documenting our lives. I'm not a professional filmmaker, and I don't know how to do complex editing. To be honest, before I started shooting these videos, I didn't even know what I should capture. But then I thought, maybe nothing special needs to happen at all. To people on the other side of the world, the daily life we take for granted might be something they've never seen before. Well, not my lucky day. The breakfast stall my wife wanted wasn't even open today. This is a classic breakfast spot right downstairs from my apartment. These are some of the most iconic breakfast foods from my hometown. Tang, spicy pepper soup, youtiao, fried dough sticks, and pan-fried buns. But I got here a little late today, so a lot of the food was already sold out. My wife's favorite is a mix of tang and tofu pudding, but they were out of tofu pudding today, so I could only get her a bowl of tang. But I usually skip breakfast. I'm not working at the moment, so I don't really feel hungry in the morning. And honestly, I think a lot of breakfast foods are pretty high in carbs. I'm already overweight, so I'm trying to cut back on carbs. Youtiao is probably one of the most well-known Chinese breakfast foods. I used to love it when I was a kid. Back then, I lived in the countryside. Making youtiao at home takes a lot of oil and is pretty time-consuming, so most rural families wouldn't make something like this for breakfast. Whenever I wanted some, we would go out and buy a few sticks every once in a while. But as I got older, I started to find youtiao a little too greasy, so I don't really enjoy it as much as I used to. Even though I still really like youtiao, I've had to give it up for the sake of my health. But if I weren't overweight, I think I'd still have a hard time giving up youtiao. Every morning at breakfast, my daughter likes to sit in my arms and play for a little while. It's breakfast time. My daughter doesn't like sitting in a high chair. She prefers to be held by either me or my wife while she eats. So every time we eat, my wife and I have to take turns. One of us eats first while the other holds her, and then we switch. It's been pretty frustrating for me. I've looked up a lot of advice online about how to teach kids to eat on their own, but none of it seems to work with my daughter. My wife is enjoying her breakfast. Without the tofu pudding mixed in, the tang is a little too spicy for my wife. This is Tang. For a lot of people, having such a salty and spicy soup for breakfast might sound a little hard to imagine, but in my hometown, almost everyone eats it this way. It was too spicy for my wife, so she only had a little and gave the rest to me. Not every restaurant makes tang equally spicy. A lot of places serve milder versions, so if you can't handle spicy food, you can always choose a place that makes it less spicy. To avoid wasting food, I had to finish it. Luckily, I can handle even the spiciest kind of tang.
再吃一个枣吗？
Since we had breakfast pretty late, I headed to the local market right after to get everything ready for lunch. We're having pork and scallion dumplings for lunch today, so I'm here to buy the pork first. This place probably has the freshest and cleanest pork in the whole market, so I always buy my pork here. Pork is really cheap right now, less than $1 for about 1.1 pounds. All of this cost me less than $3, and it should be enough to feed all 5 of us. Before heading home, I stopped by to pick up a package.
哪里？
这儿炸着哎，中哎。
你坐哪里？
哎，凉快。
给弄个板凳吧。
嗯。
坐你的凳子好不好？
好。
你这样等会儿吧，别人绝对给你起。起来吧，去给你放板凳去。给，过来。来吧。
不做这个，不做这个嘛，这样子。
加油啦！
破坏大王。
手还没收拾的呀，你还有给他打。咦，还拿那根儿来了。
太大哈。
不是，我是不是老湿？
不擦一下呢？
你还紧了吗？
那能吃不擦？赶紧放。
不能说。
嗯。这还有呀，爸。这。
我不吃。
俺两个吃不完，我这。
五味儿，吃不吃？
不吃。
啊？
不吃。
你吃了没有？
吃了。
吃了。
拜拜。
吃这个。
嗯。
我吃这个。
吃这个吧。你那个。
我吃这个。
妈妈碗里没有啊。
那碗里没有啊，这妈妈的碗呀。你的在这里。
我吃这个。
妈妈碗里没有啊。
一模一样。
啊，没有。
这都一样，只是分开装了。你要不要？
我要这个。
你拿一个吃吧。拿这个吧。
你给它拿出来呗。
摇一摇。
嗯。
摇一摇。
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 啊。
摇一摇。
游一游，游一圈，2圈。
要哪个？
那个。
要不要倒一点？
这个。是不是？
我给你倒一点点醋吧。
这个也有辣椒。
倒这里面。
嗯，妈妈就给你倒了。
倒一点点醋，这样吃呀，好不好？
好不好？
要是这个。
嗯。
这是辣椒。
对，你刚吃了辣的辣。
辣。
还非得蘸住这块儿吃。非得蘸住这水吃。
辣不辣？
给你倒一点醋给。
可辣可辣。
给你倒一点醋。
你看，妈妈给你倒醋，你把饺子放里边游一游，好不好？打成干净饺子。
你自己游吧。你蘸着吃吧，这是醋，是吧？
你非得跟我们一样。
你吃吧，你尝一尝，看能酸你能不能接受？
怎么拿住呀？
用勺子。 用勺子。
我拿你筷子
你不是
扎着吃。
要勺子吗？
勺子不好拿，拿筷子扎着吃，好不好？出来一次，
你大把，
刚磕住我了，你懂？
大把的都是辣椒，是不是？
我也要吃辣椒。
你敢吃？
这个辣椒，要是醋。
吃醋。
吃醋，给，扎着吃吧。你舔一口看酸不酸？
酸不酸？你尝尝。
你先舔一口。
嘿嘿嘿，酸不酸？酸不酸？
是。
酸，你吃不吃？
嘿嘿嘿。
翻一下。
翻一下。哟，快掉了。啥意思嘛？你这个可以挖。
我的。
当走吧，行不行？
行。让奶奶给你吃。
好不好？
抱着你好热呀。
没有见过谁。青蛙，青蛙，给镜头比个耶。耶。
给你送几个饺子。
对，行不行？
给奶奶送过去好不好？
柠檬饺子酸酸的，哥